On the MPNFL First Division show, after 4 rounds, it's been a fascinating start to the year. We'll speak to young gun Brenton Credlin from YCW. He's in the studio, and YCW flying, making a great start to the season. It's interleague time. The interleague coach and one of our panellists, Chris Holcomb, is here and will tell us who might be in, who might be out, and the lead up to the big game against the Ovens and Murray League in a few weeks' time. Nick Jewell really proud of the massive Buds win over A-Class List. Well, the so-called A-Class List in Edithvale, Aspendale. First win of the season, first win for Nick Jewell in his second stint as coach of Rosebud. We'll talk about that. Purple Shark Day, a massive success at Sorrento, and you never underestimate a wounded python. A panellist on the show last week did, and did he get smashed. My name is Dan Lonigan. Great to be here hosting the MPNFL First Division show. There's a gentleman on the end. I'll introduce myself. I'm Dan Lonigan. And your name is?
Tony Blackford, mate, and it's good to have you back, Dan. I'm a bit chuffed, mate.
Nice to be here. Chris Holcomb.
Dan the man, Lonigan.
Pushed Robbo out of the way, hasn't he?
Don't you start with that. Don't start with any of that rubbish.
Went away, Robbo was all sweet.
I was just asked to come in, and I'm coming in. Robbo does an outstanding job, but I'm here at the moment, so lovely to be here. Chris, nice to have you with us.
Back, mate. Yep.
And BJ, Brenton Credlin, good to have you with us as well. BJ, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll start firstly with you, BJ. YCW going well. Why are they going so well at the moment?
Probably just a bit of continuity with that list. You know, we've been able to get a lot of young players back who have gone to Frankston, had their stints at Frankston. We've had Luke Payner's back from injury. A lot of the same blokes on the park each week, which is really helping, and especially having those good players at training as well when they'd usually be playing, training at VFL.
Are you frustrated you're close at Richmond, but you're not getting it going?
Yes and no. Like, it's something that you sign up for, being an AFL-line club, especially with VFL as well. You're always fighting for a spot in a relatively small team. So yeah, it's frustrating, yeah, but you know what you get into.
How many spots would be available each week on an AFL line club?
Maybe
depends on
70-ish.
injuries.
Yeah, it all depends on injuries, obviously. Like on the weekend we had 5 VFL listed players play, and they all started on the bench.
Did they?
So we had like a full team of AFL players. So
must be good for you up there to have a couple of blokes. Fletcher from Red Hill, Chad Harris.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys that are playing in the morning to Peninsula.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's great. It's good to have blokes from our league playing VFL footy, which is really good.
And the good thing about
sorry, mate, I think Chad had his first game. So
yeah, he did. Yeah,
and did by all reports quite well, Chad Harris. So.
Yeah, definitely.
And the other thing, we talked off air, and I asked you about YC. Like on the weekend, the side that you fielded against Frankston Bombers was possibly the best side on paper that you could probably field at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we had all our key players back, and Frankston had a bye, which was handy. We got Lockie Williams back, and Cody, I think, played doggies the week before, and he's come back, and he's a star.
Yeah, and you've been scoring big scores too.
Yeah, we have. It's good having blokes like Lockie Street playing up forward now, and he's just got the ball on a string in the midfield and then moves forward and kicks bags.
Yeah, like last year, Holtz, he was shifted around quite a lot, wasn't he?
We had him as a defender, and he's one of the best defenders in the comp. And when I saw him go forward, I thought that was just taking the mickey, but he's still really well up there.
We ended up moving him forward only because we didn't have any firepower up forward, so we needed to put someone there, and he's slotted straight in, and he was really good.
That was your issue last year, wasn't it? You just could not score goals. I mean, your defence was outstanding, kept you in more games than you probably deserved to be in, considering there were weeks when Wayne Cap used to say, gee, have we got 22 to pick from? Have we got enough players in the reserves? Have we got enough players in the seniors? It was just one of those years last year, BJ, wasn't it, where you were just beset by injuries?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was really bad. We had a lot of blokes really, long time on the bench, on the sidelines, just because of injuries, and it made it hard for us to sort of gain a bit of momentum in the season.
I feel sorry for him, mate. How many flags did you play in before that one last year, mate?
Maybe 3.
Three in a row?
Yeah.
So that's going all right.
Yeah.
How many years of senior footy you played?
4.
Oh,
yeah, so he's got a pretty good record. Is it one that stands out? Is it the first one, or is it another one that's a bit more special so far?
Probably the one against Mount Eliza, where I played on Justin Van Union, and I think I shut him down pretty well and ended up getting best on ground that game, and that sort of slingshotted me into VFL footy as well. I think I got a call from Richmond on the back of that game. So
I'm glad you didn't say the 2 against Mornington, mate. That was good.
Well,
Thanks for that.
Do you have much to do with the Richmond senior guys?
A little bit. You know, the boys that will play mostly VFL football, we see them a fair bit. We occasionally train with them, but not your marquee players. You know, we might see them in the change rooms and stuff, walking down the hallway. But apart from that, you don't really spend a lot of time with them.
So you haven't had a big conversation with Dusty yet?
You've got a tattoos like Dusty,
He's
hasn't
got
he?
a lot of tattoos. Is he impressed with your tattoos? That's important,
no,
BJ. Hasn't got as many as him, but you're heading in the same
growing.
direction.
He's only a young man.
Getting there, yeah. I can't quite afford them. They're bloody expensive.
They are expensive. He can
Are they?
afford whatever he likes, the great
Oh,
man, can't he?
Yeah.
So it's great to have you with us, BJ. Please stay with us. Plenty to talk about on the MPNFL First Division show. We'll get to the results shortly, but Chris, it is interleague time.
Yep.
You're coaching again. There's pressure on you. You've won the last 5 times, not you yourself, but the MPNFL against the Ovens and Murray League. You're ranked 3rd up against a very strong country league, probably the 2nd strongest country league behind Geelong. You'd probably call MPNFL as a mixture of suburban and also country, so they're not country on their own. So, and it's a league that's rich with history, isn't it? It should be a fantastic encounter at Rosebud in a few weeks' time.
It should be. We're really excited because not many times you get a home final, especially with the result. If it goes our way, get another crack at the MCG or Etihad Stadium, which is sort of the carrot that you play for. We were unlucky last year. We'd come up against a really, really strong Northern side. BJ played in that game, and we went in quite young, and we took it up to them early. We just sort of, our ball use in the second half wasn't up to scratch, and they got on top of us. But we get another crack at them this year, and it's great to have that home ground advantage, hopefully. Anyway.
Holtz, what about the buy-in? How's the buy-in this year? You know, like it was probably not 100% last year, would you say?
It's a hard one at the moment because we've got so many VFL mixed guys and guys just out of the system that are sort of getting a little bit older. But you can't help getting excited when you talk to guys like Byron Barry or Sean Downey. I spoke to him yesterday, and they're that excited about the opportunity to play for the MPNFL in a home final. Gets you up and about, gets you a little bit excited.
Well, they're the players that you want playing.
Yeah.
You know, the people that want to be a part of it, they're the ones that you go for straight away because they're going to make an impact.
100%, and look, that comes off like when you go to training or in the games. Those guys are invested, and you can just see they want to be out there. And BJ would have picked up on it last year. The YC guys are always terrific, always really professional, and always want to play at that higher level. And it just bounces off those sort of players.
Do you pick your best 22 on form because you're picking from 1st and 2nd division, aren't you?
Yeah, it's hard. You try and get around and see as many as you can and get all the information you can. Sometimes you go with experienced players that have done it before. But a lot of times there's also a form factor in it. I know Coates from Mount Eliza's been off the radar but played some great footy on a wing, so we're going to give him a chance through. But it's just on form and that sort of thing.
And BJ, what was it like playing last year? And what's it like playing interleague?
Oh, it's great. I love playing interleague. Anytime that you can sort of represent, your league, I like to grab with both hands. And I think that's something that you need to have a good team. You need blokes that are going to want to really embrace it, and not blokes that just.
And it's about getting to meet other people and to know other people from other clubs too, Dan. That was the big thing about interleague when I was involved. But back in our day, we would have the bus trips, and the bus trips are renowned to make sure that people gelled together.
Yeah, well, one of the exciting things this year I was surprised with, I was talking to Trent Dennis Lane a few weeks back. He's excited as to be able to play, and half of it is being able to mix with the guys from the opposition clubs, getting to know them outside or just after games, so that you only get that 10-15 minute window. But to spend some time with guys around the comp, that was his biggest excitement.
What about getting to know the Ovens and Murray League a bit too? I know you played them a few times, but you obviously know a fair bit about them. Will you do as much homework as you can to get some intel on their current list and their current structure?
Not as much. It's hard because you've got availability side. You don't know what their final squad's going to be. Northern we tried to do a bit on last year, but you don't know what the final squad. It's same with us next week or the week after. We've got a squad there, but there's so many factors that might change. So you've got to concentrate on ourselves, get some basic rules of what we want to stick to, and try and get everyone on the same page because you haven't got much time.
No. Well, hopefully it's a huge crowd. GameFace will be streaming it live. Looking forward to that. Can't wait for the big game. And your coaching staff. You've got a pretty good coaching staff, Chris.
Yeah, Brendan Dunn's backing up again. He's at Kringle this year, premiership coach at Hastings. Andrew Morrison, who did some coaching up in Queensland, and Bevan Malloy's joining in this year. So he's been coached at Kringle and Mornington. And I'm second in the list, and I think Bev 1 year when we were playing through there.
Pretty good player, wasn't he?
Oh, terrific player.
Yeah.
Terrific.
So yeah,
As good as you, Blackers?
Oh, that hurt him. You said that with gritted teeth.
He is better than me, Dan.
Didn't want to say that.
Well, let's have a look at the round now, guys. And just before we do, we must thank Bendigo Bank. Thanks to Bendigo Bank, GameFace can now do more netball and women's football. Why wouldn't you change your banking over to Bendigo? Bendigo offer all the same services as the big guys do, and great to have them involved in our coverage of the MPNFL. Well, Nick Jewell, very proud of his young Rosebud team. There are two sides to this story. We'll start with the positive side. They absolutely smashed Edith Vale Aspendale. When we saw the scores, I don't think a lot of people could believe that. And I even said to Luke Tapscott as he came off the ground, we called the Sorrento Tremana game on the weekend with a couple of minutes to go. I said, hey, Tappy, while we were calling the game, I said, Rosebud have absolutely smashed Edith Vale Aspendale. He said, oh, you're joking, aren't you? What have you been on? I said, not much, and that was exactly right. So it was a terrific performance. They led at every change, Blackers. Edith Vale Aspendale did hit the front, and you thought they'd go away with it. But Keegan Downing kicked 5. Wilson kept Lamb kickless. Nick Jewell was really impressed. And here's Nick Jewell and Greg Bentley speaking to the GameFace team after the match.
Thanks to Swiv's Locker, it's GameFace's post-game wrap-up, and we're joined by the captain and coach for Rosebud, Nick Jewell and Greg Bentley. First win for the year, fellas. Must be absolutely stoked with that.
Yeah, much better feeling. Definitely everyone chimed in, and yeah, good to get the 4 points, that's for sure.
Close game all day, pulled away in the last quarter. What did that come down to, mate?
Oh, we've been doing a lot of training. We've worked very hard fitness-wise. Actually, the boys complained that we've been going into games with heavy legs. Intentionally been really working hard on the Tuesday, so we lightened it off this week, and perhaps it worked.
As a coach, how nice was it to see the boys get their first win for the year? It was pretty loud when you were singing the song in there, everyone hugs and everything. So is it pleasing to get the first win for the year, mate? Oh,
look, it's outstanding. Well, look, today we had our 10th debutant for the season, so it's going to take time to gel, but that's the style of play that we played, back in 15 and 14 and 13 even. It's a hard style of play. It's about work rate and effort, and we got that from 22 today, and it was unbelievable.
At the luncheon last week, you said you guys know where you're at. You know that you're not, probably going to win a premiership or anything, but you're just trying to, as you said, debut kids. How pleased are you with the older group as well? On top of the debut and the kids.
Yeah, I sent it. There was 9 premiership players left that played today, and obviously Greg being one of them. And I sent a message to them all last night saying, it's time to show us the way with all these new faces. They don't know the game style as such, but you guys do, and I think Greg today was terrific, and a few others. They were all terrific. It was great to see.
Greg, you always lead from the front. You marked the ball at centre half forward, and then a bit, 65 metres out. Looked at the 6 and went back and slotted it, mate. Do you think you're going to get the distance?
Well, at first I had to pretend like I was going to pass it to Keegan, leading into the pocket, so I did that, and then I think it was the first one I've hit sweet in about 3 weeks, so yeah, it was nice.
It was a cracking goal, mate, to be in the highlights for sure, and thanks for joining us, guys. Get in and enjoy it. Thanks for joining us on the GameFace wrap-up.
Cheers. No worries, thanks.
Great performance by Rosebud. I saw them against Sorrento and they fell away in the second half. I didn't think they had it in them, even though I wasn't impressed, gentlemen, with Eddie Asp against Pines a fortnight ago.
What they were able to do is open them up with their leg speed, and they were able to cut through the Edith Vale defence on the weekend. And the good thing for Nick and the Rosebud guys is that they were able to kick 100 points or more, and they've been really struggling to kick 8 or 9 goals each week.
And as Nick said too, they've had 9 debutants I think so far this year. That's going to take a while to gel, especially if they're a young group. So to get one early like this, it's a great effort.
Now, Edith Vale Aspendale we know have recruited heavily from Noble Park, which is a very strong club in the Eastern Football League. But the 4 guys that they've got from that competition, Monaghan, Dorr, Allen and Kelly.
Over the last couple of years.
Yes, correct. Are all in their 30s now. You'd have to say their best footy is behind them. Now, I know Noble Park don't like giving players away, but my understanding is that they've given them away because they know their best football is behind them. So do you think that Edith Vale Aspendale has made the wrong choice by going for players who are in the back end of their careers?
Well, it just depends on how much energy they've got, Dan. If they've got energy and they've got the want and the will to keep on continuing, then they're worthy servants of a club. So it just depends. That's what my opinion is.
I'll probably go the other way. I reckon it's not so much their fault of what's going on. There's a massive disjoint. I mean, you can't have a side that gets blown away by the Rosebud when you look at the two sides on paper. It just doesn't make sense.
There was a lack of effort, wasn't there? The way that the game got away from them in the last quarter.
They can't be playing for the right reasons
No.
if they're just falling off. And it happened again the week before, and it happened again on the weekend. So there's
Yeah, it
obviously a
happened to Bombay,
disjoint
didn't it?
between what's happening out in the field on a Saturday and what's happening off the field. There's something not right there at all.
Are you surprised, BJ, considering how strong EDS have been over the years, how poorly they've started this year?
Yeah, definitely. I haven't played against Rosebud since we've had the opportunity to over the last year. But I know playing against EDFL, they're definitely a tough team to beat. Even regardless whether you're winning or losing, you never really have it in the bag against them. So I'm very surprised.
Well, great performance by Rosebud and pressure on
Wonderful.
Edithvale Aspendale. They go further into the fire this week, Blackers. They take on Sorrento down at Sorrento.
They're possibly not going to win that.
No, I wouldn't have thought so. And the pressure must be mounting. Must be
no.
mounting. And there seems to be a lot of concern at Regent Park, although you won't hear much from the Ox. And they're very good at the way they close things around each other and keep together as one. But something will have to give eventually. Absolutely. No doubt about that. Now, looking at Purple Shark Day, that was an outstanding success. It was great being down there on the weekend. The GameFace brothers, myself and Paul Wilson.
Got a bit of a name for themselves.
Well, a little bit. We're not the most attractive men, are we? We've got good heads for radio, but we had a great time down there, and we thanked Sorrento for looking after us. They didn't have to feed us, but they did with that beautiful beef.
My understanding was that there was some beautiful meals presented.
There was.
And some person that ate his outside the caravan actually had his face smothered in the beautiful food.
Yeah.
Is that you, Dan?
That's me, yes. I'll be honest, I'm a shocking eater, and thank you, Blackers. Yes, yeah, thank you. Yep.
Get in the trough.
Loved every single minute of it. Hardly of what I ate, of course, I ate, as you say. Not much went in the goal.
Did you eat that, Dan? Or,
I tried to. I had to get back on the air, so we had to eat quickly. It was called inhaling it, Blackers. That's what you do. Now, it was a big day, of course, raising money for the Matty Revolt Vision Day. Tom Lynch was down there from Richmond, former Sorrento boy. Brendan Favola was there, whinging and whining about going to play, and we'll talk about this a bit later. Red Hill, and I think you can understand why a little bit later. He was down there in the morning. It was fantastic. And Test cricketer, I think he'll definitely go to England, Marcus Harris. Here's what they had to say in the lead-up to the big game on Saturday. Hey Marcus, how important is it to get behind such a foundation like this?
Oh, obviously massive. It's been great to come down today. We were involved in a bit with the Renegades and with the Stars, so to come out and help out today, I was very lucky to be down here, and hopefully a few people come down and rattle their pockets.
What's it like being back here at Sorrento? It's a big day today, the Matty Revolt Foundation Day. How important is it to get behind that?
Oh, absolutely. I think the Rewalts and everyone with the charity have done a mountain of work, and it's just been great to see the growth in, and it's nice to come back down to Sorrento and support the charity in a small way.
Well, it's a great pleasure to have the great Brendan Favola down here at Sorrento.
What a great day, obviously, down here at Sorrento, and we were here last year as well, and everyone's wearing the purple, which is great for Matty's vision, and I am playing today, so we're playing at Red Hill. It's going to be freaking freezing, so looking forward to it, mate. Looking forward to it. My body's not feeling good, but hopefully when I get out there, the adrenaline will take over.
Sorrento were magnificent, 9-20-74 to 5-4-34. Now, again, they started slowly because they kicked the first 5 behinds, guys. And then 3 goals against the trend by Dramana had them in front, but then Sorrento settled down and Dramana just never looked like it. Should have won by a lot more, and they have admitted that sledging is a tool they use. And surprise, surprise, one of the leading sledgers is one of the best players in the competition, Mitch Hallahan. Here's his view on sledging. Let's cut to 3/4 time. What was all the argy-bargy about?
I don't think there was too much argy-bargy. I think we just asked the question of a few of their players, and look, as we do when we're at our best footy, we like to get on the lip a little bit. I think it's a competitive advantage for us because we're able to suck a few in and takes their mindset off what they're trying to do and gets them focused on us. So at the moment it's working for us. We've got to toe that line because I gave away a 50-metre free kick, so we don't tolerate that. But look, it's at the moment we're toeing that line, albeit I crossed it a little bit today.
Well, Mitch Hallahan, he out there is certainly a bit like Jekyll and Hyde, isn't he? Very quiet off the field, but on the field he just plays it tough.
Yeah.
That's why
Well,
he's played
tries to get
AFL
that little
footy.
bit of an edge, doesn't he?
He does.
Dan.
And are you surprised by that? I was a bit surprised until I saw him on the day because there was a bit of mouthing going off at 3/4 time. They got stuck into Ricky Johnson, big verbal going on.
Yeah.
Ricky got fired up, and certainly the Sorrento boys got fired up, and it was very interesting. But Mitch just says that gets them going.
It's a dying art, isn't it?
Oh,
Back in the
yes.
day, well, you cop
Yeah.
it left, right, and centre. Mitch is probably one of the few blokes in the league that can actually get away with it and back it up at the back end because you don't want to
Oh,
be
he's
mouthing
very
off
good
and
at
end
it.
up looking like a tool bag. So, he does it well, and I've heard that out in the field about him. Have you seen it out there?
Yeah, well, I've lived it actually.
What against Sorrento?
And Tallahan, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it the first time we played Sorrento, that round one, when we were up by however much we were when we were pumping them. They were very quiet that day, but since then, as soon as they get a bit of a run on, they're right in your face. Mitch does this thing where you're on the mark, you have a mark taken on you, and you stand on the mark, they're about to have a shot, and you'll stand right here. And it does your head in because there's nothing you can do about it because he's such a big bloke. You can't push him out of the way, or if someone comes and help,
He can go through.
he's just there, he can get away with
He can
it.
handle himself.
I was watching him a couple of times. He stood up in two-man tackles and got a hand pass out.
He's strong.
He should have played more league footy. He was a bit unlucky. I ran into his mum. His mum just said he was at Hawthorn at the wrong time, and he went to the Gold Coast where they weren't really looking for inside players. They were more looking for run. That's the way Rocket's
Was it his
coached.
outside speed, Dan?
Well, I think so. But
Yeah.
I mean, he could certainly play at other clubs and
Yeah,
get
that's
30
right.
or 40
And beat that
possessions.
inside player to
No
get out
doubt.
to the run.
Very good player. Now, don't underestimate the wounded python. Glenn Carter, our boss, and he knew he would too, that he'd be belted from pillar to post, received plenty of text messages for tipping against them, tipping Bond Beach, Scanlon, Edwards, Bongetti, Perry Lewis-Smith, some pretty good players there. All not playing, but it was a magnificent performance. Russ Gabriel had a massive game. Kyle Jacobson, Brendan Barfoot, Brad Kiley, all very good. Plenty of depth there.
Probably Gabriel's best game for the club since he's come across, and he was outstanding, and he really worked well across that half-back line, and he fed it to the Pottsers and the Boswells, and their delivery up forward was fantastic on the weekend. Dan.
Bo Hendry was back in form. I think he played up one end of the ground for most of the day where the wind was going and turned his form around. So that was a good effort from them. But they've still got another 5 on top of those 4, so they've got 9 to come back into that side.
Their depth is really good, isn't it?
It was their
Getting-
weakness.
Getting Jacobson and the other guy from Pearcedale.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Nahash yet either. We haven't seen also Tommy McDermott, who's been doing his building
course.
course.
License,
Getting his
that'll
licence.
be interesting.
He'll be very handy to come back into that side
Yeah.
too. They've got plenty of depth, BJ, haven't they?
I think they'll be really hard to beat this year.
New injuries though, thanks to Body First Health Group. Troy Jacobson, new recruit, and Lockie Marshall now out. 2 handy players. Even though the reserves are struggling a bit, they seem to find players to come in. It's one soldier out, another one comes
Well,
in.
they get blokes in to just play their role, Dan. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
Now the ladder after 4 rounds, Sorrento on top, unbeaten ahead of Pines on percentage. Frankston YCW are flying, 3 wins and 1 loss. Mount Eliza are now in 4th as they've managed to square the ledger, dropping their first 2 games, including a narrow loss when Sorrento swamped them in the last quarter in round 2. Since then they've been very good. And Bond Beach making up the top 5. Dramana in 6th position, but their percentage under 100. Then it drops away. Edithvale Aspendale 1 win. Rosebud 1 win. Frankston Bombers need to find a way to start winning. And Mornington at this stage, boys, do you think they're the favourites to be relegated, even though there's a long way to go, Blackers?
Yeah, there is a long way to go, but obviously at the moment their form hasn't been great, and they have been losing games by big margins.
They need to find a bit of spirit. I went and watched a quarter on the weekend. They're just flat.
Are they?
Yeah, they're just flat.
What's causing that?
They're turning over the ball a lot, so when they're going forward, they're chopping it up and getting caught out the other way. And when you've got a young side and they're not winning and you're getting done, it's easy for your heads to drop. Especially they need to find that leadership there that can actually get them together and sort of have that consistent effort to get them in games towards that last quarter. They'll keep fighting, but they're just struggling at the moment, mate.
In the goal-kicking lead, Paholke, the showman, another 3, missed a few as well. He's kicked 17. Jackson, he wasn't happy that he didn't get more free kicks. Surprise, surprise. Jackson Calder of Mornington 14, Lachlan Street, Frankston YCW 12. Playing well up forward, BJ, isn't he?
Playing really well, and he's kicked a lot of goals out of midfield as well. So he's getting heaps of the footy and then moving forward as well and kicking goals.
Trent Dennis Lane from Von Beach on 12, a number on 10, including Guy Hendry of the Pines, Harrison Scott of Mount Eliza, and Joseph Fisher of Bond Beach. Well, let's look at next week. Big round of footy. Mornington hosting Bond Beach. What do you think?
Bond Beach,
Yeah, I think Bond Beach, I think their form's been okay, and Mornington just haven't been able to get a winning score on the board.
They'll be disappointed with last week, Bond Beach. That was a test for them to be able to sort of get
Well,
themselves in
was
that
it-
top
it was-
echelon, and they fell short.
It was an opportunity
Yeah,
for
100%.
them, Hawks, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I said at the end of our coverage last week, and I got a reputation of saying too much too early, but I believe the top 5 won't change in First Division. 4 rounds in.
Oh.
What do you think, BJ? Who wins there between Mornington and Bond Beach?
Oh, you have to go Bond Beach. I haven't played them, or I haven't really seen a lot of them this year, but from what we, from seeing Mornington and how they're playing, and haven't won a game yet, I think it's a bit of a no-brainer.
Sorrento and Edith Vale Aspendale. You would have thought at the start of the year this would be one of the matches of the day, but this will be one-way traffic.
Yeah, I think it will.
Sorrento easily.
Yep, Sorrento.
Just and the Edith Vale boys have to stick together and come out with a bit of grit.
Do you think if they lose, there might be a change?
Well, if they lose and they lose heavy this week, they've got to
They'd be
do
4
one
in a row.
Well, they do one of 3 things. They'll either get rid of Yader and start again and try and salvage someone for the year. Back Yader and say we've got you, and then if the players want to take off or fracture whatever, they'll just back Yader, or they can all get together and try and resolve something.
Work together.
Work together to do it.
Correct.
They should get in a bus and go down there together on the weekend and then come home together.
That's a good idea, Tone.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, it's good.
Bit of interleague set up.
Yeah, it is.
A little bit.
Bit of bonding.
Sorrento win, BJ?
Yeah, Sorrento. Yeah.
Dramana and Mount Eliza. Crucial game for Dramana. If they win this, they're 3-2 and they'll jump ahead of Mount Eliza. So both battling for the same spot in the top 5 at the moment.
Mount Eliza's form's been outstanding, really.
Yeah.
They really pushed Pines, they really pushed Sorrento, and then they've had 2 really good wins.
Can I just say about Dramana, I really rate what they're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
They were 2 and zip. They come up against YC, who we rate as best couple of sides, and they come up against Sorrento. And they weren't disgraced, they were right in at half time.
Yeah.
So Mount Eliza have been going okay. If Turnbull plays at Frankston on the weekend, Dramana will beat Mount Eliza.
Cool.
The difference.
Yeah. He's playing some cracking footy
He
at the
is,
moment.
isn't he?
Oh,
Yeah.
he's just got the ball on the string.
He's in your squad, isn't he?
Yes.
BJ?
Yeah, I'm interested in this one. I think Mount Eliza will win. I'm actually pretty excited to play against Mount Eliza. I think we've had very similar scorelines against Sorrento. We've both had pretty good wins, so I think Mount Eliza YC will be a good game. But yeah, I think Mount Eliza might win this one. Yeah.
Pines and Frankston Bombers. Been disappointed with the Bombers. Bit of pressure on them, and I think the Pines will win and win comfortably, even with all their injuries.
The Bombers last week, their turnovers early were terrible, weren't they?
Yeah,
And-
they couldn't really get the ball into their 50. They'd work the ball out.
Yeah, and even prime people like Dale Sutton, he just was turning the ball over. So they've got to get better at their foot skills and their execution.
Maybe their confidence is down. 1 and 3, poor percentage. It can happen at the start of the year.
Can.
Yeah.
You can't see
And
daylight.
then you're chasing your tail
Yeah.
after that. Yes.
Yeah.
Pines.
Pines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Pines.
And, well, obviously, BJ, you're going for Frankston YCW. Rosebud, it'll be a test for you because they were good last week. You wouldn't want to take them lightly.
Yeah, well, I haven't played against them, so I don't really know what to expect. But yeah, obviously, of how they played last week. Hopefully, it's not too hard a game for us, but interesting to see how it goes.
No, they were terrific last week, Rosebud. Really good effort to get that first win, but YC be too strong.
Yeah, it'd be great for their confidence, great for their belief, and hopefully they can go out with the same game plan and execute nearly as good as what they did last week.
It's good for the confidence to play against new teams.
Of course
Oh,
it is.
definitely, yeah, it's great. It's
Dan,
breath of fresh air.
The restructuring of the competition and having these 3 sides up has really helped the evenness of Division 1.
Yeah.
Even though the Sorrento president made a comment in the Herald Sun on Sunday. I don't know whether you saw that. John Anderson, not John Anderson, AFL Southeast, John Anderson, the journalist, does a column, and he has little nitbits of just little columns around the place, and Bernie was whinging about the record not being available in document style now. It's available on the GameFace app.
Yeah, and
We've got a great arrangement, and I think it works. And then he was talking about bringing in divisional football. You can't stop having a crack about that. Divisional football is what makes this competition so good.
Yep, it certainly is. He'll keep having his opinion on it. I think we're over that now. Let's get on with it.
Exactly.
I think this competition is as good as it's been.
Yep.
Yeah, there's no easy games.
Yep.
You know.
That's what you want. I
That's
mean,
what
you can have your gates every week. He said the gates are down 10 or 20%.
Yeah, but
I don't think they're down that much. It was a big crowd there on Saturday for Sorrento and Dramana.
Yeah.
they'll
Big
always
crowd.
get big crowds down there on their home
They
games.
Thank you, gentlemen, and really
Good to catch
enjoyed
up, Dan.
being part of the show again. We'll hopefully see you again soon. Good luck on the weekend, BJ, and for the rest of the season with Richmond or with Frankston YCW. That is the GameFace Division 1 MPNFL footy show. May the best team win, and we'll be back